What's going on, guys? If you're watching this, I want to give you my thanks. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. I wanted to talk about the two things, really. Normally, on the Nerdy Jock, we talk about sports first, but today we kind of just gonna stick to the nerd stuff. And two major things came out today, or yesterday. First major thing that came out was finally the Spider-Man trailer. Now, a little rant on that. There's no, I would say, logical reason as to why they couldn't have not have released that trailer 2 months before this. Everything we saw in the trailer was stuff that we essentially had already heard through leaks and uh, people who scoop these films. There was nothing new in that trailer. Um, so I don't understand why they could not release that trailer at least a good 2 months before this, or at least a month before this. There's no reason they had to wait all the way to almost the end of March to release this trailer. Like I said, there was something in there that hadn't already been 1,000 times over spoiled already, maybe. But that being said, the trailer was amazing. It was truly amazing, which makes their um, not releasing it even more egregious. I still don't get that, but regardless, let's focus on the trailer. Now that we finally got it, it was amazing. It was everything I wanted. The opening, seeing MJ happy with Ned at MIT, the fight um, with, we're not sure who it is, maybe Damage Control, but with him and Punisher, and obviously Spider-Man not only trying to fight whoever they're fighting, but also trying to keep Punisher from um, hurting people uh, unnecessarily. There's a scene where he kicks him through a van, and Punisher goes "mother," and before he can, curse, Spider-Man webs his mouth and tells him to go home. It is a great sequence. And seeing all the this kind of remind me of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, where Spider-Man goes through so many different trials and tribulations, and we just see him go through the ringer, and he going through a lot, and we see Spider-Man really down in a bad place, and he's going through it. He's depressed, he's sad, he's struggling, and it's just we're seeing Spider-Man go through it, and for me at least, it's the inevitable struggle and sadness that Spider-Man um, endures, and yet he can still smile. He can still be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man despite going through all those trials and tribulations. So it was a really good trailer. I really loved it. We saw Scorpion. We saw Bruce Banner. We did not see Hulk, but we saw Bruce looking like he's teaching at a university. So that's pretty cool. no more, Professor Hulk, which I didn't mind to begin with. But kind of overstayed his welcome. So it's good to see Bruce Banner back. Um, we saw the hand. We saw who I heard online was supposed to be Tombstone, so that's really cool. Uh, we saw him. We saw MJ with a kind of what we're led to believe is like her new boyfriend, and of course Paige is just looking at him. Another thing in the beginning is we hear Peter reading like a note he wrote out loud, um, trying to explain that him, Ned, and MJ know each other, that their friends have always been friends, and he had to do something to save the world that made him forget who he was. Um, and it's heartbreaking, and but it was such a good trailer. It was so good. The fight sequences, the there are a couple shots that look like they're ripped right from the comics. So despite my displeasure with it being a trailer that, like I said, we had there's no excuse or explanation they can give for holding out this long. This trailer could have came out at least 2 months ago, but it was worth the wait. It was worth the wait. It is an amazing trailer, and I don't know if I've been this excited for a movie in at least a few years. I'm excited. This is going to be a great film. So I'm very excited about it. The second thing, Invincible came out. They released the first 3 episodes, and what I can say about Invincible is the first 3 episodes, damn, they were good. Damn, they were good. It was released on TikTok. I think it was. I don't know. My son showed it to me. But in the end of episode 1, we see Conquest break out of like that little prison. They had him like in that prison where he was all contained. They thought Adam contained. He broke out of that. And but episode 1 was mostly like a montage catching up with the Invincible, his family, Robot, Eve, just kind of re 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 you know re acquainting ourselves with them. But it was a good episode. It was really good. Um, some really cool sequences. It looked amazing as always. The second episode, though, was where we learned Nolan's kind of backstory. We see someone who looks just like Mark. I mean, identical. And he's like training Viltrumite children, and he's brutally attacked by his mother and father, and they call it adult day. Like, this is the day he becomes an adult, and they beat him near to death. And that's when they name drop him and say, "Okay, Nolan, you fought well." I'm like, "Oh shit, this is Army Man when he was a young, a young man." And we see that Veltron was attacked by a biological weapon that wiped out like 90% of the population. And that comes actually back later, in a kind of surprise uh, revelation on one of the characters that we met last year or last season. Um, but it was so well done. It was extremely, um, I think, powerful to see how his upbringing really shaped Nolan's ideology. One of the things I always said I liked was, Omni-Man, he's a villain. But he kind of like a villain in the same way Darth Vader is in that he's a bad guy because of circumstance, because of the things around him shaped his view and his ideologies, and that's what turned him into this, you know, bad guy. Where in any other case or in any other circumstances, he really isn't at his heart a bad person. It's just the ideas and the people around him and the circumstances that he kind of came up in that shaped him to be who he is. And I think seeing that really is seeing his young adulthood really gave more nuance and context to how he perceived the world. But it also gave, I think, some context to him thinking differently. And despite his upbringing, still having that kind soul in him. And it just, yeah, it is such a good episode. Um, we're starting to see Adam Eve lose her powers. And we see the reformation of the Guardians. Another big thing is the sequids, the little squid creatures from Mars. They come back and they use like this field to contain them where they attacked. And Mark isn't back with the Guardians, but Cecil asks for his help because they just can't contain it. And they kind of have this cool, like, the people who were infected, they hit them with like this wristband, and they hit them, and it gives like a pulse. And that pulse, gets a sequid off of them, and they hit it with like a dart. And that dart basically transports them back to this like decontamination facility. And so they're doing it, but the sequids are there's so many of them. It's almost like an ocean of them. And they're attacking Mark, they're attacking the Guardians. And finally, there's one guy left, the original astronaut, the original guy. And the Sequids have literally almost made themselves into like a wave, and then it's crashed into this containment field, and it's about to break. And we see Mark, while he's holding this astronaut, one of the Guardians is trying to bring him, one of those wristbands to get the secret off of him, because why does so even this one person connected, they still have that hive mind. And so um but the integrity of the field is rapidly falling, and is about to, and they even told him if even one secret gets through, the world will be completely over in only a couple of weeks, and containment would be almost impossible. So Mark kills him. He says, "Hey, I'm sorry." He kills him, and it's just, you see how heartbroken he is, because that's Mark's one rule: he won't kill. But what happened to him in the past really shaped him and made him paranoid that holding back will result in the people he loved getting hurt again. So, but damn, this is a good episode. If the rest of the season, if these first three episodes are any indication, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. This may be the best season yet. And that's saying something, because I have loved every season. I know the people who said they didn't like the second season. I I I have this. I vehemently disagree. I think the second season is amazing. I think the third season is even better. And so far, this season is looking to be even better than that. Um, and then we also, I think in the third episode, get like a really fun, like, no, so the second episode, we get a fun um, uh, montage of Nolan and Alan the alien going and trying to find ways and different weapons to use against the Ultramites. It's really funny. It's actually pretty awesome. The third episode, we are reintroduced to Titan, and that episode is kind of like about him as a new crime lord, and it was okay. Um, I like Titan. I think he's a pretty cool character. I think the episode was actually um, pretty good, but the ending of the episode is what I think is amazing. So spoiler alerts. This is a huge spoiler. So if you don't want to know, don't listen. Click off. Go watch the episode. Go watch all three. They're amazing. You should be watching it anyway. You should have already watched it. But at the end of episode 3, we've like I said, we've been seeing Adam Eve with her powers, and them just acting up and being completely off. There's something is going on, and we find out possibly the reason for it is that she's pregnant. And that's a big revelation that we get. So, which reminds me, there's we all know, if you're a fan of the show, we all know Adam Eve's parents, especially her dad, is just an asshole, and her mom is just one of those ditzy, brainless women that will go along with the husband, no matter how in the wrong he may be. She'll just defend him. And there's a part where Mark is over there talking, having dinner with her parents. Her dad's just a total asshole to him. And it's really, it's, but, he does bring up the fact that she's only ever really been seriously hurt when she's been in a fight because of him. And you also see like the doubt come in, and it is so well done, and the voice actors are amazing. Invincible is such an amazing show. Um, and I normally I would have notes, but I didn't. I just kind of enjoyed it with my. It's one of the few shows that I can sit down with my sons and watch. Typically my sons they like anime. Um, I watch it with them, sometimes, but I'm just not a fan of it. It's not my cup of tea, if you will. Um, and a lot of things I like and I watch, Star Wars, Marvel, their generation isn't as into it. But Invincible is the one thing that we both, um, actually, all my sons, all three of my sons like it. That all of us kind of come together and watch, and we can all enjoy together. So it holds a special place in my heart. But I implore you, please go watch Invincible season 3. It is off to an amazing start. You get in a Titan episode, you get like a bullseye type of assassin, which is he looks pretty cool. We get Leo back, or Leo Lee, or the old Asian guy. We get him back. Um, but this time we get him fighting Oliver. We get I forget the name of the character, but the guy that can transform into like is it a raptor or a T-Rex, and that thing was actually pretty funny and pretty awesome. We get I'm not a Star Trek fan, but we get a Star Trek reference. We just so many things we get, and of course, Alan the Alien brings this comedic gold. It is hilarious. The sequence with Nolan, Alan Alien, and Alan's girlfriend, you know, going around looking for all these different anti-Viltrumite weapons is funny as hell. But oh man, it off the already a great start. I can't wait for the next episode. I'm super excited about Spider-Man. I won't complain about the trailer not being released sooner anymore, because when it did come, it delivered in spades. So all is forgiven. That movie's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. It's what, about 4 months away, give or take. Um, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see that movie. That film's gonna be amazing. And in between that, we got Visible still coming out. We got Daredevil Born Again still being released. We got Mandalorian and Grogu. Listen, if you're a nerd like me, you are eating good. You are eating good. Yeah, your plate is full. You don't have to ask for seconds, because you have a pile of just delicious food in front of you. We are going to be eating good for the rest of the year, because we have Doomsday coming up. I know Doom 3 is coming out. I haven't seen the first two yet, but I've heard nothing but good things, so I might have to, give in and finally watch those. But I mean, we still got a bunch of, we still got the Darth Maul show coming out. I mean, we have a lot. There's quite a bit for us to enjoy. So, um, what a great time to be a nerd. It really is. On the sports side, you got an NFL draft coming out, free agency. It's pretty much. I mean, AJ Brown still rumored to be on a trading block. Um, Now, how will the Waddle trade affect that? Because he went for a one and everything, so a 1 to 3, and they swapped picks in the fourth. So he definitely went for a little bit. So I know the Eagle front office, they're gonna look at that and they're gonna want at least equal to that for AJ Brown for him to be traded. Um, you might get a few other trades before the draft, but I think the majority of free agency and the trades and the moves are pretty much done by now. Like I said, we might see a few things, but that's it, the bulk of it is finished. It looks like Max Crosby's going to stay with the Raiders, so you know we'll see what happens. But it, we have a lot to look forward to, whether you're a huge football fan or you're just a huge nerd. There's so much to look forward to in the next few months. Um, anyway, thank you guys if you're watching. Uh, we'll see you next time, okay?